Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another video here on Navisim 101. Hope you guys are doing great. So what we're going to be doing today is taking a look at this newly released aircraft from Justflight, the RJ Professional. Alright, now you might say, hang on a minute, isn't that the 146? Well, yes, it does look like the 146 on the exterior, but on the interior, in the cockpit, it's very different, as we're going to see very soon. Now, this aircraft is actually one of my favorite aircraft, if not my most favorite aircraft. Reason being because of its short takeoff and landing abilities. Okay, it has this ability to just shed its aerodynamic load on touchdown. Okay, so this opens up a plethora of airports you can travel to. Okay, places where the A320s and the Boeings of this world can only dream about. You can get there with this aircraft, and that's why I love it so much. Okay, so what we're going to be doing today is focusing on the EFB. All right, so that's what the video is about. It's a fairly lengthy one, so sit back, relax, and grab yourself a hot drink. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the cockpit. Okay, so welcome to the cockpit of the RJ Professional. So immediately you can see that it's a massive upgrade to the 146 cockpit. Okay, so we have like glass screens now as opposed to the analog readouts. Okay, and we also have like a digital instrument here for the engines. Okay. And we also have an upgrade to the FMC, and also we now have auto throttles in the RJ, so that's really good. And looking across to the TRP, the thrust reduction panel, that is also different as well. So quite a good like electronic upgrade here, a modernization. Even the glare shield as well is different. All right, so if you're wondering, you know, should I upgrade to the RJ Professional? Well, my opinion, yes, it's a good upgrade, and you'll certainly enjoy that. Right, so moving back to the EFB. Okay, so now just having a look, we've got the home button here, and if you click on this, it's meant to actually turn it off and turn it on, but it's never worked for me. It does serve as a home button, that definitely works, but the on and off feature just doesn't work for me at the moment. All right, now looking over here, so we've got your battery level there in a picture format. You've also got the battery level in percentage. Okay, now when the aircraft is not being powered by anything else, it does feed off its own power, so just be aware of that. It does go down quite quickly. We've got a signal strength indicator here, and also Wi-Fi. I hope it's not using my Wi-Fi indicator here. I think that's just image purposes really. Moving across, we've got the time in UTC and also today's date as well. Okay, now before I forget, you can also adjust the angle of the EFB. Look at that, it's actually tilting down for you. Okay, why you'd want to have it that low, I don't know. But yeah, it goes back up, clicking on the corners there, top left and bottom left corners. If you wish to swivel it clockwise, you can do so like that, just clicking on the right bezel, and on the left you'll bring it back. Okay, cool. Right, so now we've got a few icons. So the EFB really is split into two parts. You've got the flight planning side of it, or to show your flight plan, okay? And you've got a couple of extra things here, such as checklists and top of descent calculator, also a very brief settings panel there. And the other side of it is that you've got this aircraft icon, okay? So you can see that my screen probably is different from yours in that I've got my own picture displayed as a desktop there. You've probably got the default desktop here. All right, that can be changed. All right, let's go to the Notepad section. All right, so you have a handy little Notepad section, so you can press the pen icon and you can type in information. So for example, if you were on VATSIM, okay, and receiving taxi instructions, then you can just type in your taxi instructions like that. Okay, it's pretty awkward to write with a mouse, but if you keep doing it, then you'll just get used to it. Okay, and you can actually erase this little by little if you want, like so. Okay, and you can make the correction there. Okay, or you can just get rid of it in one fell swoop by clicking on the brush icon down here like so. Okay, now the other way to input information is via the keyboard. Okay, so you'll have to just click on the pad and it should actually write for you. Now, this is a glitch I've discovered with this keyboard input section. You can actually move the keyboard around, but I have had difficulty just prior to this recording. Several times I've had to stop the recording and try and sort this out. Okay, so you should be able to just write from here like this, but it's not doing it. Okay, sometimes it does it and sometimes it doesn't. Okay, but what I've discovered is that if you say, let's go to the aircraft app, okay, and just switch on the ground power. All right, you can hear that coming on. And now if we just turn on the external power here, okay, external power available, and switch that on. Okay, let's just go back to the notes section. It starts working. There you go. Right, so that seems to be a bug in this system, but at least you know how to get around it should you wish to type information into the iPad. All right? Right, okay, so moving on. All right, so if you want to actually put your own image on the desktop, then what you can do is, let me see if I can do this. There you go. Right, so this is from the instruction on the manual, the EFB manual. All right, so all you need to do basically is, so let's tap outside of that. I'm going to zoom in so you can see it. Right, so here is what you do. So you go to the community folder and just follow this path to this folder here, which is the EFB folder. All right, and you're going to see this file here, the app underscore background.png. Okay, so the app or the EFB only reads a PNG file, so you can basically download any JPEG, right, and turn it into a PNG. Almost said PMDG, a PNG file. Okay, a useful tool to do that is if you go to canva.com and you just open up a new design project, say a YouTube thumbnail project, and just copy and paste your image or screenshot it and then Control V onto the new design page in Canva. Then you can actually go to the download section and save it as a PNG file. Come back to this folder and just change this to whatever you call your image, and it's got to have that PNG at the end of it, and drop it into that folder, and then you can come back to your EFB and you'll see that you'll have your lovely image at the back there. All right, cool. So that's the Notepad section. All right. Right, let's just turn off that ground power for now while we watch the battery. It just makes it a bit more quieter. Okay, so we'll come back to that. All right, so let's go to the settings panel. Okay, and now very brief on the settings. Clock 12-hour format. If you wish to have that as opposed to 24-hour, then you click on that. Okay, and you can see there you've got the AM symbol there. Okay, and check clock local time as well. Okay, if you wish. And operational flight plan. So if you wish to use your username, okay, you can click on this. If this is unchecked, then you'll need to put in your pilot number from SimBrief, which you'll find on your SimBrief account or on the flight plan that you generate. Okay, so yeah, and theme as well, you can change that. It just changes it to light or dark. Okay, and brightness as well. Okay, so you can up the brightness or down the brightness. Okay, right, so home button, we're moving right back. Now, OFP, your operational flight plan, let's start there. So click on that, okay, and we'll see we've got my name there, Robbie Martin. You'll put your name there if you have that option selected. Okay, and continue, and that's a flight plan that I have uploaded already through SimBrief. Okay, this is the actual tutorial that is on the PDF you get with the aircraft. Okay, so that's Zurich to Brussels National Airport. Okay, so there it is, and it displays the route and wind information, and zero fuel weight, block fuel, all the usual stuff that you'd get there. Okay, and you can log out as well. Okay, if you wish to change the flight plan, then just change your flight plan in SimBrief, re-upload, and do this one here. Click on this one to reload. Okay, and right, and to actually get your SimBrief, your flight plan to the FMS, okay, use the SimBrief downloader. It is in the same, if I show you here, if we go back to notes, okay, so if you go to this same path, right, you will see a folder where you can actually direct SimBrief downloader to actually install the flight plan for the FMS. So everything is in here. Okay, cool. Okay, so yeah, where were we? That's where we are. So this is the summary page. Then you've got a METAR page as well. Okay, you've got METARs for your current and destination and alternate airports, along with the raw format right there. Okay, and output as well. So this is your OFP, your operational flight plan. All right. Now, the only way to actually zoom is to physically go closer to the EFB. At the moment, Justflight hasn't given us the ability to actually zoom in. Okay. You can scroll up and down, and it scrolls quite quickly, actually. I do like that about it. Okay. You uncheck that, and then it won't scroll for you. Okay, so that's that really. Okay, so moving on back to the home screen, we go on to map. Okay, so here's the map, right? And the map is taken from Open Topo Map, if I recall. Right, so yeah, that's pretty much it. So we've got aircraft there at Zurich, parked at Gate Hotel 85 or 88, I think it is. And so if you want to move the map around, then uncheck this symbol here, and you can do just that. Now on this page, you can actually zoom in and zoom out, as I've just shown you. Okay, and you've got the longitude and latitude on the bottom left-hand corner. And that's about it for that page, really. Fairly simple. Okay, so moving on, home page once again, and we go to the charts. Okay, so whereas with SimBrief, you don't need a subscription to create a flight plan. You can create a free account with them. Now, you probably know by now that with Navigraph, if you want to access the chart information, you do have to have a subscription. Okay, so now I'm already logged in, so if I weren't logged in, then it will say log in, and then it will show me this QR code with numbers down there. So yeah, that's the way to actually get yourself logged in. Go to navigraph.com/code and then you put that information in if you wish to do it by the numbers. Okay, so let's go to airport charts, and there you have. Now, if your flight plan is loaded in, all you have to do is select departure and it will display your departure airport information. So if we go to taxi, you can see there that we've got information to do with taxi, all the usual stuff. Okay, so we can save our airport information by clicking on the star to the left. Okay, and your SID, for example, on the tutorial flight, you do leave or depart via Vebit 1 X-ray, like that. Okay, and then we can go to the arrival, and that will put up your arrival airport. And once again, you can click on parking stands and also the arrival airport information and your star as well. Okay, and so on and so forth. I think this is the approach, the star for the tutorial flight as well. So if you have a look there, you can see everything is saved. Okay, like so. Okay, cool. So this can be manipulated as well. You can have it zoom in, zoom out, or page width from this side to this side. Okay, you can have it page height, top and bottom, to fit the screen there like that. Okay, you can have it night or day. Okay, you can display your aircraft like so. Okay, and you can have it full page as well without the menu on the left side, and you can even draw. Actually, let's zoom this closer. So for example, you can draw your taxi out information like so. Okay, which is really good. Okay, and you can say erase part of it, just like we said, like this, and you can obviously draw in another route like so. Okay, like that, and just erase it completely like that. Okay, and also this section here, just to fill out the screen if you so wish. Okay, and you do have a keyboard here. Okay, which, don't forget, you can move around. Not sure why you would need a keyboard on this page for. Okay, not sure what you can maybe write down with the keyboard. I haven't worked that one out yet. Maybe Justflight can tell me, or someone can tell me. All right, so that is that for that page. Okay, pretty neat. Okay, cool. And you can go back, right? And you've got a search button up here. So if you want to put in any other airport ICAO code, then you can search for any other airport, right? So you've got an exit button just up here. You can exit and that will bring you back. If you do press the home button, it will bring you back here. Okay, so like you've gone 2 steps back. So yeah, back to charts, and then so you press exit button and that will bring you back to this one, because you may just want to go to the en route charts, and that's the best way to do it, just to press that exit button. All right, so now we do have IFR charts. Okay, you got 2 types of IFR charts here, so let's see the differences between them. There's that one and that one. Okay, I can't quite see. Oh, there's a slight difference with them, really. Let's have a look. Okay. Yeah, there's more information on this one here. You've also got the VFR charts there as well. Okay, VFR information, and you've just got a world map here too. And if you zoom right in, then you should get the airport in much more detail. So yeah, so this is really good as well. This is what we get on the Navigraph app itself. Okay, so you can clearly see the taxi route, taxi layouts there. So that's really, really good. Okay, and so that is that. Okay, so moving on. So we've done that. Maps, charts. Okay, checklist. Just going to the checklist. So cockpit preparation. Here, you've got the basic layouts of reminders on a checklist. If you're new to the aircraft, I would say go through the tutorial that's provided from Justflight and to go through the complete setup, because this is just a checklist just to make sure you haven't missed out on the most important things. Okay, so, and you can check them all off at once and you can uncheck them at once. Okay, so it's a nice little feature. Now moving across here, we've got the TOD calculator, which is the top of descent calculator. So you can actually input your current altitude. Okay, so like so. Okay, and enter it, and your ground speed as well. You can input that. Okay, by the keyboard, or you can just press the sync button, which will sync your altitude, your current altitude, and your current speed in knots as well. Target altitude you'd put here. Okay, so for example in the tutorial at Brussels, the flow VOR, you'd want to be not less than 7,000. Okay, and yeah, and you put that and it will just basically work out your target altitude really here and tell you how many nautical miles you have left to start your descent. Okay, so that's that. Okay, so that pretty much covers all the other buttons here. So let's go to the EFB now. Okay, just checking on that battery symbol, we've got 83% left. And now we click on import, and that's going to import our payload and our fuel. Okay, now you see that we've got these figures. Okay, they're flashing. Okay, the reason why it's flashing is it's just giving you, it's just telling you that this is what I've read from the flight plan. Okay, these are your fuel figures, and this is the prospective passenger total. Okay, prospective passenger cargo. Okay, prospective zero fuel weight, and also total fuel weight. Okay, so if I go to, so if I just go across to here, so I'll tell you what, let's just turn on, oops, sorry, let's turn on the, I'm going to turn on the ground power, because the thing is, once the battery goes down, right, and you've got no ground power on, you ain't got a hope of restarting anything. You're going to have to restart the sim, because it ain't going to work. Right, let's put the nav light on. Okay, and right, here we are. So just looking at the information down here, so the fuel, you've got 1,000, okay, in the tanks. Okay, so that shows you, right, that by uploading the SimBrief flight plan into the EFB, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's actually refueled you. Okay, this is just an indication as to what it's going to refuel. Okay, so to refuel that, we click on start refueling. So you've got instant there, which means what it says on the tin. Okay, you've also got realistic. Okay, and realistic is going to take about 20 minutes to refuel. You've got 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and 20 minutes. Okay, which is pretty much like realistic. Okay, so we'll just do 5 minutes there. Okay, so we can start refueling. Okay, but before we do that, I think it'll be good to, let's just go through this here. So if I just go to the top here. Okay, we've got a home icon, which will just take you back home to the main screen, and you've got this cog icon here. Okay, so let's just go through some of these checkboxes. Okay, now you've got auxiliary fuel tanks here. Okay, click on that and you've got the ability to actually store more fuel on the aircraft. Okay, and now during fueling, this cannot be changed. Okay, so you have to decide whether you want auxiliary fuel tanks or not before or after fueling. Okay, and you can adjust these by everything here. You've got plus and minus signs, that will increase it by, say, 5%. Okay, all right. And then you've got cockpit pilots. Okay, so if you're feeling a bit lonely on board and you wish to have somebody sitting next to you, a first officer, there's our first officer friend over there. Okay, and we can uncheck him. Okay, so now you've got GSX handling. Okay, so if I click on GSX handling, all right, and we go down to the fuel section, okay, now it says waiting for refueling. Okay, so if I just get GSX up, okay, like this, so just click on that too. It should normally say waiting for GSX here. Okay, let's just uncheck that again and check it like that. Okay, and check the fuel. So it's waiting for refueling. So let's just call on GSX refueling. Sometimes it does say waiting for GSX, but maybe that's on the passenger. Yeah, waiting for GSX boarding. So the GSX refueling truck will be along in a minute. Okay, so right, so yeah, so that's GSX, and it does work pretty well with the GSX, really, the fueling and the passengers. Okay, so you can have that checked or unchecked. Now HF aerials, if we have a look, we will see these wires going across there. So these are high frequency wires there, like that. And if you have a look at the top of the tail, okay, you can also see the HF aerials as well. So you can check and uncheck these, okay, like so, that one there and that one there, and they both will disappear. Okay, cool. Now this one here, we've got metric altimeter. Okay, so if we look down here, we can see that there's nothing. Okay, let's just turn this on. Turn on the new screens there. Okay, so yeah, we've got nothing there, but if we go back, then and check this, then that'll give you your metric altimeter readouts right here. Okay, so I'll tell you what I'll do. If we go to this section here, you can switch on our avionics. Okay, and just go down here, and yeah, there we are. You can see it right there. Okay, should you wish to have a metric altimeter readout. Okay, so moving on, so we've got a tail skid. Now this is grayed out because it's the RJ100, so it's not fitted to this variant, but if you have the 170 or the RJ85, then you'll have the ability to put a tail skid on those two aircrafts, right? Okay, cool. So moving down, all right, we have got the gauge refresh button right there. Okay, so just having a look at that. So the gauge refresh, and basically what that does, that will give you digital control, okay, or it controls the digital gauge refresh rate. So the lower the refresh rate, okay, is the higher the FPS demand will be for your PC. All right, and obviously the more high you have it, then the lower that demand. Okay, so leaving it roughly in the middle is say the sweet spot. All right, now moving on to this one, we've got air stairs accumulator. Okay, so the differences between the RJ85 now and the 146 is that if you remember, if you're a 146 pilot, you will remember that to deploy the air stairs, okay, you would have to go to the AC pump button, switch that to auto, which will generate the system for the air stairs, and then you can operate it, okay. But now, because we have this check button here, you can keep it checked, and now you don't need to use the AC auto button, but you can operate the stairs directly from here as you open up the aircraft. So the only proviso with this is that because it's an accumulator bottle, okay, it is just that. Now flyers of or pilots of the A320 Airbus will know that the Airbus, the brakes, has an accumulator bottle which you need to check if it's charged. It will give you 7 attempts to stop the aircraft should your brakes fail. This works off the same principle, not with the brakes, but with the operation of the air stairs. Okay, so let's just put that back. Okay, in that, right, you have 2 attempts to retract the air stairs and put them out again. Okay, so if we just go round to the front here, okay, and so we see the air stairs like so. Okay, so for example, I could retract the air stairs like this. Okay, that's retracted, and just put them back. So that's 1. Okay, now we'll retract it again. Right, now it's not working. The reason why it's not working because I've actually used up the first attempt. Okay, so that is number 2. Okay, so it's no longer going to work because the air in the accumulator bottle has been used up. Okay, so to get your air stairs back, you're going to have to go back to the traditional method of using the auxiliary pump, which then charges the accumulator bottle, which I think carefully you can hear that. I think you can hear that charging, if I'm not mistaken. There you go. Right, so, okay. If you keep that AC button down, then obviously this is going to operate all the time. Okay, cool. So that's that. And now moving on, we've got air stairs lights. Now that speaks for itself. When the air stairs is out, then you've got the air stairs light that will come on automatically. Okay, the flight attendant do have some switches inside the entrance area for the aircraft. Okay, I'm not going to go into that, that's probably for another video, but you can control various things from the panel that's outside one of the doors at the back there. Okay, now you've got auto cabin crew. Okay, so this basically enables or disables cabin crew logic. Okay, so basically when you've got this enabled, right, the cabin crew will control the lights, they'll control the music in the cabin, they'll play as the passengers are getting on, and various stages during the flight. Okay, and also when that is checked on, then they'll handle the cabin announcement. So this button and that button kind of like works in conjunction with each other. So if I uncheck that, you can see that it's immediately affected the auto cabin crew. Okay, so you can just have that one on and that one off. Okay, but you can't have this one on, that one off, because this one, once you've got that one on, then it automatically controls the cabin announcements as well. Okay, Right, auto cabin lights as well. So yeah, I think when you take off, it's at night, and it will turn it off and on. So you'll have to go outside the aircraft and see how that operates at night. Cabin ambient sounds. Okay, it does what it says. Basically, ambient sounds will play depending on the status of the passenger boarding, and the volume of that will depend on the cockpit door. So if the cockpit door is opened at the moment, okay, you might can hear something. All right, I'm not too loud at the moment. We'll show you how that works soon. Now, interior cabin, okay, so if you don't want to have, like, you know, what we can see here, the cabin with all the seats, okay, you don't have to. You can, if we close the door, okay, so you notice here you've got like a camera there. Okay, it's not a camera, so it's a spy hole. You can flip that and you can actually look through. Okay, there is a lock on the door as well. Okay, so basically, right, if you was to uncheck that interior cabin right now, okay, you won't be able to open that. Reason being is because there's nothing behind. Behind this door, there's nothing. You do have no aircraft behind this door, okay? If I was to try and get a little peek outside, just go through the walls, you'll see nothing. It's just pure skeleton. You might see the bit of the aircraft, but there's nothing outside. Why you'd want to fly an aircraft like that, I don't know. But if it saves you frame rates, then I suppose, yeah, you know, it'll give you a better flight experience, but I always have that checked on. Okay, I like to know that the complete aircraft is behind me and not left behind. All right, now this one here, so I did mention that the RJ85 has an auto throttle. Okay, so this check button here, basically what it does, it locks the auto throttle. So if you have it checked, it means that if your 5-year-old comes along and says, "Daddy, you know, what's this?" and he presses on the, if you got the external Cytec joysticks and you push it right forward, then it's not going to affect this at all because it's locked. So yeah, or you can uncheck that if you want to. Okay. EFB auto brightness. So this is what it says. It's the EFB auto brightness. Now, the auto brightness, you got this one here, that actually controls the brightness for this out on the outside there. This controls the brightness for the, actually let me go and prove that. Actually, let's prove that. I might be wrong. No, I'm wrong. Okay, it does control it for everything. I thought it was like separate controls, but no, it does. Oh, I don't seem to be able to, well, okay, that controls it there. Let's have a look back. Let's have a look back at this one here. Yeah, okay, so the two brightnesses are linked together, it would seem. Let's have a look back. Okay, all right. Well, you've got auto brightness here, so you can check that. So according to the time of day, it will just manage it for you if you so wish. Okay. Right, cool. And where we're moving on to now. So we've got, oh yeah, okay, so flip chart options. Now, flip chart weight sync. Okay, so what's that all about? Right, well, I had to try and get my head around this as well. So let's have a look. Okay, so we've got a flip chart here. Okay, so right, so basically when you're setting up your flight and you come to this section here to set up your flaps and stuff like that. Okay, so now if you have the flip chart options set. Okay, so basically when enabled and you click on the relevant row, okay, so you've got if 18 degrees of flaps, 24, 30, 33. So if it's enabled, right, you can have the flip chart set up all of your flap values, okay, and the TRP values as well. Okay, so let's just set the temperature on here. So we've got it set to 10. It doesn't seem to be moving. Okay, so you see the temperature down here. That's 10 degrees. Okay, so this is your thrust reduction panel. Okay, and now because we've got a switch enabled, okay, it means that if you click on, say, 18 degrees, which commonly is the flaps we use for takeoff, okay, it will set that VR. So you've got the VR there, okay, and that will also be on V plus, okay. And if you have a look here, you've got the final takeoff setting as well of 172. So if we turn this outer dial once again to V dot, okay, it should have, let's have a look, that's 124. Oops, one more, sorry. There you go, 172. Okay, so 124 VR, okay, like so, and you've got 172, right? Now your V2, okay, which is your climb out speed, that is going to be set automatically for you in the IS Mac window, okay, like so. All right, so that's when you got that flip chart enabled. Okay, you can click on the individual rows. So if I click on 24, for example, let's go back. So can you see it's got 114? All right, 114. You've got a V2 of 120 there. Okay, which you'll have to add 10 to as you're climbing out to make it 130. And then you've got the same. Now it says 171, so I'm not sure why it's not saying 172, but that will be your, yeah, there it says 172 there. Okay, if I click on 124 and so on and so forth, okay, I think that's probably just standard for the aircraft there. Okay, but it does actually set it up 106 there. Okay, V2 113 up there. Okay, now if you have it right, so I'll just go over here. Oops, sorry. If you have it, say, unchecked, right, then it's just going to, if you just click, basically, if you set your flaps, say for example, let's set the flaps down to 124, okay, you click anywhere on the chart, it's going to set it up according to whichever flap you have. Okay, so you can see it's got 120 there, 120 there. That's because we've got it set to 124. Okay, 33, that's all the way down. Okay, and just click anywhere and it will set that to 133, and you've got 111 in the window. Okay, now the other one we need to look at is the flip chart weight sync. Okay, so you notice here we've got a gross weight of nearly 36 tons. All right, so we've got that checked. Okay, so basically what that is going to do, if I try and get a bit closer, all right, so let's have a look at that. Okay, so you notice here that it's automatically set for us 36. All right, if, say for example, let's just go to the fuel, right, and let's put that to instant because I need it to happen right now. So let's do the instant refueling. Okay. Okay, so that's gone to it should read out at 37. Right, there you go. See, it's upped it to 37. Okay, and that's what it does, because you've got the EFB basically working out the settings for you. Okay, if you uncheck that, what's going to happen now is that you're going to have these arrows, okay, either side like that, okay, which you can decrease it like that yourself. Okay, so you will have to handle and manage the weight settings, and you can see that the landing and all the figures there are changing according to the weight of the aircraft. All right, so I hope that is clear for you. All right, if not, if you need any further explanation, just put your comments in down below. All right, so that's those two. Pilot callouts is exactly what it says, so you'll get the pilot callouts at 80 knots and V1, VR, and also flap retraction as well at around 172, 175, and so on and so forth. So it's this aircraft's pretty good with the callouts. Okay, now this one here is rudder axis setting. So you notice that you've got a tiller right here, okay, and you've also got your rudders here. Now, when you have this set, okay, basically if it's disabled, okay, the rudder is going to be disconnected from the nose wheel steering. Okay, that's what's going to happen. Okay, and basically it's not going to control the tiller as well. Okay, so yeah, now when it's checked, then when you move the rudder, it's going to move the tiller as well. Okay, so this tiller does work. It's not working at the moment because we're not going anywhere, but it does actually work, and it will steer the aircraft. Okay, now one of the other fringe benefits of this, if you like, is that you can actually use this check button as a nose wheel steering tiller disconnect button. So you know what we've got on the Phoenix A320, you can disconnect the tiller just by pressing on top of it. Okay, and as you're rolling on your taxi roll, you can actually just check the extent of the rudder movement. Okay, well, you can actually use this in exactly the same way. Okay, just uncheck that as you're rolling along, check your rudder. Okay, and of course don't forget to check it again, and then you'd be in full control of the nose wheel steering. State saving, that is exactly what it says. So how you leave the aircraft, so the aircraft state is saved, okay, and reloaded automatically between flights, so the instruction says, okay, and so basically it allows you to always return to your cockpit in pretty much the same way you left it in. And here you've got sync altimeters. If you wish the altimeters here and here to be synced with the altimeters over this side as well. Okay, so that pretty much covers all of this configuration panel. Okay, so now we're left with these controls here. So you've got your aft passengers, you've got ground air, okay, and at the ground air you will see the ground air affecting this panel here. Okay, it does actually affect that. The only thing is you can't see a ground air unit on the outside. Sorry, there is no ground air unit. All right, it's not modeled, but now that we've got the ground air on, okay, like I said, you will start to see the ducts going up there. You notice that? See, it's moving there. So the ground air is actually being put into the aircraft, and yeah, you can actually warm up the aircraft without the engines being on. Okay, so that's the ground air. It would be nice to have a ground air unit on the outside, but as it is, that's not happening. Okay, we've gone through ground power, okay, forward service, cargo, okay, and aft cargo, okay, and after service, okay. Here you've got units, so you can either have it in pounds or kilograms. This is for your elevator flaps, or your trims rather, okay. You can either click on this, which will set your trims automatically, okay, so your trims are there, and your trim reading is here, okay. So there's your green trim takeoff area, so you can wind that up, okay. And we'll just press it in this area and that will set it up automatically, okay. Right, now you do have this, so let's just go to here. We've got our fuel, okay, so we have refueled, okay. So you can see now the refuel is that the aircraft is actually refueled now, okay, hence why these figures are not flashing, okay. These figures are flashing because we haven't actually loaded the passengers. So if we click on passengers here, okay, now we have actually said that we're going to board via GSX, so I'm going to do that. So let's do request boarding, okay, and click anything there, okay, and see remaining passenger time 23 minutes. Okay, and so you can actually decide if you want to do it instantly or you know, if you have to uncheck GSX, of course, because GSX is going to load it gradually, okay. So and that's one of the ways to do it. Passenger total, so you can actually do it random. If you're not using GSX, you can just click this and everything will be random, okay. And let's just have a look outside and see what's happening. So you can see the stairs is coming around, and it will be boarding passengers on this side. No thanks, crew is already on board, okay. And let me click this again, boarding passengers now, it says. Okay, we'll wait for that to be seen. Okay, so let's just go back inside. Alright, while that's doing, we'll go to, say, this icon here. Okay, so this is the failures page. Justflight has incorporated failures into this aircraft. So quite simply, you've got fail, arm, and the minutes before it does fail. Okay, so you can fail it right now if you want to. Okay, so click on the next page, okay, and you've got quite a number of failures actually. So for example, I can fail the FADEC right here like that, and you'll see right here on the MWP, the master warning panel, you've got FADEC which now has failed, okay. And that's really cool, and you can fix everything like so, okay. And I dare say in the future this will become more and more as it becomes more of a complete study level aircraft. You've got random failures here and probability real, okay, which means you may never see a failure, okay, you may just see it from time to time. You've got low, okay, which was one step above real, so the failure will be more frequent. And then you've got medium, much more frequent than low, and you've got high, which is much more frequent than medium, okay, like that. So that is pretty cool, okay. Yeah, so if you click it to arm and set the minutes that you'd like it to fail in, then that's what it's going to do. All right, so it's pretty simple there, okay. And here you have the ability to connect a pushback tug. All right, now the default pushback tug for MSFS is not the right tug, so it will cut through your aircraft because it's a massive great tug, okay. So the proper tug for the aircraft is the one, I'm not sure what, that's the one there, okay. Now because I'm using GSX, it's not going to connect it. Okay, this aircraft will start moving if you don't see a tug connected. It will start moving without any physical tug being there. So if you're using GSX, then you won't need to use this. Okay, good. I'll just to say also that the steering of this, the more you press this, the more steeper the angle. So keep pressing it. It will go to, I think, 25%, then 35% angle of steering and speed as well. Okay, so yeah, you've got speed here. You can adjust. Okay, good. And now looking at the last column here, we've got the aircraft states. So we can go straight to cold and dark. All right, so if you was to load the aircraft into a gate, then it automatically goes to cold and dark. Okay, and you can, if you was to load onto a runway, then it will go straight with 1 kilogram each on the fuel tanks and ready for takeoff. Basically, all these options will be grayed out. Okay, you can go to a ready for takeoff state, a turnaround state. Okay, and you also have the announcements here, which you can control. All right, but once you click on it once, that's it. You won't be able to click on it again. Okay, if you do have auto cabin announcements, then as they make the announcements, these will start to drop off. Okay, and they'll be grayed out. Okay, so just remember that one there. Then you've got empty weight. Okay, and that's the empty weight, so do check that with your sim brief aircraft configuration. It should be the same. All right, and you've got 0 fuel weight here. Okay, it's yellow, and all these figures will be yellow because it's actually in the process of heading towards the set value. Okay, now just want to show you, you can hear all the passengers getting on. Okay, so if we, now the door is actually shut, so I think when the main door is closed, then that will be got more quieter. So yeah, I thought it'd be a bit more quieter than that. There we go. All right, so that's the fuel weight, and yeah, so that is that. So for example, it will open, right? We've actually opened all these doors, but if you press passengers, it will basically open all the doors itself. Okay, the cabin crew will control everything. Okay, so, or the EFB will actually open all these doors for you. Okay, so to some extent, the EFB is automatic and it runs itself based on the cabin crew. All right, so there you go. So you can see your passengers increasing there, and just going outside the aircraft, we can see passengers there getting onto the bus, and you can see there the total now going up there. Okay, so yeah, that is pretty much it for the EFB. Okay, I can't think of anything else that I should mention about the EFB. Yeah, it's pretty good, pretty intuitive. Okay, just regarding the weight and balance. Okay, so basically the RJ85 would like to handle, or the EFB would like to handle, all of the weight and balance. So this means that if you was to go ahead and use the default MSFS weight and balance logic, then it's going to create problems because the two don't really talk to each other. Okay, so stick to one or the other. You best stick to the EFB weight and balance, okay, as opposed to the MSFS weight and balance logic. Okay, so yeah, so you don't prevent any issues. So you notice here that we have everything loaded, so everything has gone green. So you've got the totals there. Cargo, that's gone green. 0 fuel weight is still being calculated, okay, because passengers are still boarding. Okay, I think the last of the passengers are boarding now. Can't remember exactly how many passengers on is going to be over here in the operational flight plan.
Passengers bus is coming.
See, we got another passengers bus. So 104 passengers, okay, to be loaded. So yeah, we've only got 90 at the moment, so that means another bus is going to come along. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's about it really for the video. Just bear in mind, for you to start refueling, defueling, okay, the aircraft's got to be stationary, of course, parking brake on, chocks enabled, seatbelt sign switched off, and landing and strobe lights also switched off. I have tried this and it doesn't seem to affect it. Okay, so just want to thank you guys for watching. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. Also, please do give the video a like, that'll be really helpful. So there's the final of the passengers boarding the aircraft. Where are we now? We're at 92 passengers. Okay, actually it'll be interesting to wait and see when all passengers have been loaded. So let's just wait until it gets to 104 passengers, and then we'll see what the cabin crew then do. All right, so it's 100 passengers, and okay, all right, it's 102. There's no one else left to board. Okay, it does run slightly out of sync, so you will hear passengers boarding before you actually see them getting off the bus. So it does need to tidy up that synchronization. And there you go. So you notice that the cargo doors have closed, stairs have been retracted, and the door has been closed. Okay, all doors, not all doors, we've got to close. So look, arm doors, can you see that's been said already, so there's nothing you can do about that. It's all grayed out. Okay, you can close the two service doors. Okay, and now as you begin your flight, you can click on this one to release crew. That will only happen once, and so on and so forth. Okay, so you can see now you've got no flashing figures. Okay, and you can pretty much go ahead with the rest of the flight preparation. All right, so that is it. Thanks guys for watching, and yeah, we'll see you all again in the next video. So it's bye for now.